It's a common misconception that I did not get along with anybody in Teeswater. I got along with many people, uh, and I frequented many businesses, but money's not the whole thing. I mean, I got along with many people over there, and one gentleman even had me come over and have whiskey with him one night when I first moved there. Uh, when I first moved there, I've told the story before, quite possibly, but I went on Google and I didn't really know much about the town at the time. I had only seen the great price on Kijiji for the King Edward or whatever, and that's what drew my attraction. Beautiful, beautiful apartments, all crown molding and everything like that. And stainless steel appliances, that was a big thing. For the price, I think he only charged me $830 all inclusive. Internet, electricity, everything. But at the time they didn't have air conditioning. It's not until before I left, air conditioning units, it was sweltering in there at the time. Now they have air conditioning, it's like a remote control, and it can be any temperature that you want it to be. All right, and I had great times there. But one night, uh, I was walking, and I didn't really know much about it at the time. And I looked on Google and I said, "There's a MoneyGram over here." So I said, "What's that?" Well, I knew what a MoneyGram was, but I walked down here, and the MoneyGram wasn't there, and I seen a guy with his dog, and he said, uh, what do you, I don't know how we started talking, but I said, "Where's the MoneyGram and all that?" He said, "Oh, there's no MoneyGram here anymore," and yada yada. He said, "Are you new to town?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just over here renting the apartment over here." He said, "All right," and all that. And he said, "Why don't you come over and have a drink?" And I said, "Okay." So I followed him and his dog, and his wife was at work or somewhere or something, and it was somewhere over here. Let's just keep it at that. And we had some whiskey and maybe a couple beers and whatnot, and talked about, the town, and he introduced me to the town or whatever, sort of, and told me kind of some things. And then he showed me his really nice four-wheeler, and he let me sit on it, and he turned it on and all that, and yada yada. And then I left and went back home and whatever, and that was a gentleman that I met there. He was all right, and he's got a wife and whatnot, and I think kids and whatever. Uh, and I went to the library a couple times, and the librarian there is very nice. And she even reserved me that Kevin O'Leary book, one of Kevin O'Leary's books. I never really read it, but I took a look at that cover for a long time. It sat on my thing and helped motivate me. Now they still have this graffiti here. I don't know if they've covered that up because this is 2013, but I would generally try to cover that graffiti up. Maybe it has been covered up since, because I don't really like that graffiti there. And it says, "Get out now," it says. And it means it, for me anyway. Here's what that old hotel used to look like. If you go look at that other video, I don't know which video it is. It's something to do with that nuclear site. I'm talking about the possibility that they're gonna have a nuclear site put in, and I say it's comparative to the Love Canal story over in New York from decades ago. But they've redid all these windows here, so it was really some good news to me that they're making progress over here. Great progress. It looks much better in the picture that I just seen, or it was a video. The news was down there in Teeswater, because I used to live right up here across from it. So I used to look out the window and see it all the time, and they were working on it and whatnot. So that was cool. And I used to frequent this restaurant here. So Brooke and everything, she's in one of my videos from a long time ago. We used to get along. Same with Sherry, and then there's also another man in there that he's lost weight significantly, but we got along fairly well. Same with the Sherry's friend or whatever that also works there. Same with me and Canada Post. Me and Canada Post, actually, one girl from Canada Post asked me to go on a date one time at the Canada Post. I think it's the daughter of the one older lady there. And she asked me to go on a date one time. And me and the LCBO used to get along, as well as the hardware store. I was a customer of the hardware store. That's now a hardware store. And I've said my opinion on that. And one time I went in this place here. It's no longer an insurance company. At the time, it was like a health place, and nobody was in there. But I'm sure if I called, it was just empty. I walked in, there was just nobody in there. And me and this one guy down the street got along fairly well, the one I bought a Cadillac Escalade off of. Oh, he lives over here, actually. Right here. I'll always remember this driveway that day that I brought him $4,000 cash for that Cadillac Escalade, and the wind was blowing, and that was a huge stack of cash. All right, and I'll never do that again, though. I'll never buy a vehicle from Kijiji again. I'll only buy from a reputable, not anything he did. It was generally good. I think somebody sabotaged my vehicle, but out of jealousy. But I'll never buy from a classified. I'll only buy from a dealership from now on financing, because that was a lot of cash to pay for that Cadillac. What else? Oh, I know a guy over on this other street. I'm fairly sure that's the people that broke into my place and broke some of my jewelry, though. But they gave me a marijuana bud one time, and they're over on the quite opposite side of the King Edward, over on this street here. Oh, here's a decent friend of mine I used to say hi to her. That's actually Phil Thompson's cousin or something. Wait, that's not her house. Where is she? What the heck? It looks different in this one. Oh, no, because she used to have a balcony that you could... Yeah, here it is. Yeah, she's got a Rolls Royce, like an older one, and she's a really nice lady. She used to say hi all the time. I remember one time she rolled up on her big dirt bike and said hi to me. And one time I think she wanted to buy my bicycle for her son. But somebody else ended up scooping that bike. It was a very nice BMX bike I got on Amazon. I had to sell it and pay rent and yada yada. But over here they are here. I rolled up here one day and bought... I remember one time I rolled up here and they were doing something or other with a girl. But I came back and he gave me a marijuana bud and whatnot. But one time at the fair, I came back shortly after they had left or whatever, and somebody was inside my apartment, and my jewelry was all smashed up. So that was an unfortunate circumstance. A lot of unfortunate circumstances happened to me here in Teeswater. I know a lot of people like it, and so did I, up until that point or whatever, that my car got sabotaged, and I got set up pretty bad. Actually, that wasn't the house. This is the house. All right? I was wrong. It was 2 streets over. This is the house. I remember I walked up to the door one day to buy some weed, because this is back before legalization. This guy was selling weed, eh? And I knocked on the door and I said, hey, you got any weed? And there was no response. And I sort of looked through this window here, and he goes, I'll stab you in the face or whatever. And he's having sex with this girl. And I said, all right. And I left and I hopped on my e-bike. It was about here. And I sped off on my e-bike and went back to the apartment, because I was pretty desperate to have a bud back then, because it wasn't legalized yet. But yeah, after the fair, somebody broke in my house. I'm not sure, or apartment, and that was unfortunate. I had a lot of things stolen and whatnot. But other than that, there's just a few folks that I guess, I don't know, they didn't like me or something. But other than that, a lot of people I got along with. And at the time, the town was going through a lot of hard times as well. with some of the closed businesses. And then there was one guy that worked for the town that I didn't necessarily get along with. I didn't do anything wrong to him. He was yelling and screaming at some kids over here at the Koros. I was on my e-bike and I just stopped by to see what the kids were doing because I was worried about the kids too, right? And you know what? I regret yelling back at him, but I was just a kid sort of too, and I was over here, way down here. You can't go down there actually on this Google thing. And over by the park, and I was showing off my e-bike, but the kids were up on the roof, and they were jumping off and jumping down, and I said, that's not very smart and whatever, and I was talking to them with my e-bike, and then Buddy was over there, empty-handed or whatever, didn't have anything, and he walked over there and he yelled something like that. I said, the kids are all right, they're doing their thing or whatever, they're fine or whatever. I didn't say it like that or whatever, but then I rolled my e-bike to go back home, and I stopped and I said, everything's all right, and I said, it's all right, whatever, da da da, and he got in my face and attempted to burn me with he went back to his house and picked up a propane fueled torch, a propane torch. Yeah, he went back like a fairly big one. And he was very jealous, with a very jealous look in his eyes, and he basically threatened me with this propane torch, and I just rolled away on my e-bike. But that was just it. Him, that guy that pulled the propane torch, and then that separate incident, and then everything else was fine. I was there for many, 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 many months, and everything else was all right. But it's sort of a really small town, and I've generally learned you really want to keep to yourself and not even go to the restaurants and things, especially not dine in anyway, because what was happening was I used to live right next to the Boomers, right here, like I said, so I generally it would just be a skip and a hop away to go have a bite to eat. And I generally wouldn't even get groceries. I would just always bring my money over to Boomers. And I would sit right here sometimes, right in the window. And I didn't know how hungry some folks were, that they would see me in the window eating a nice meal at Boomers. And that really, I guess, got to a certain demographic of the town. Not the whole town, but some of the town. And I guess that's what happened, but I'm in a much larger city now. Now it's still a city that's pretty small, but it's nothing like a Teeswater. Now who knows what they're going to do with this nuclear waste site, where they're going to put it. They even threatened this small. I used to be with Bank of Montreal. And I remember they used to even come in here and try to threaten the Bank of Montreal, the local branch. All right. So there's some wild, wild west stuff kind of going on out here, where there's not a police dispatch anywhere near. It's very far away in Walkerton is one of the closest dispatches, and maybe Clinton or something like that. So there's some people that take full advantage of that in this town here. It's sort of the wild, wild west down here, especially in this town. Yeah, let's just keep it at that. It's like almost like the wild, wild west. I've said before they have a really nice public library. Here's that town hall. I could tell a story about the town hall. One time I was walking or whatever, and they were having some sort of recital in there. And one other cool thing was, one time I was coming from a dinner at Boomers and going back, and it was really cool. It was starting to become night and whatever, and they were doing their bagpipes right here. So that was a really cool show to see when they do their bagpipes out in Teeswater. And many know I had a Teeswater Fair video And it was a great video. It had a very famous band in it. And and they're wondering, like, you got all these new videos, you got all these videos that are coming out. What happened to the fair video? I don't know what to tell you. I was at 99% on the render in my video editing program when I was editing, and I heard some people yelling and whatnot. Next thing you know, my power flicked on and off. And I go to turn on my PC again. My PC was working, but something happened to those files. I don't know if they corrupted or whatever, because I make it my due diligence, my duty to make sure that I get videos up that I do, especially something like that. So, like the Teeswater Fair video that I did it was an amazing video that you just cannot replicate at all. Okay, you just can never do that exact video ever again. It was a great video. And when I hit 99%, the power flicked on and off. Now, I don't know if it was, I'm not going to blame anyone, because I don't know if my PC was, because it had a bottleneck issue. So maybe my PC, right when it was at 99%, it was finishing that render. It quite possibly could have caused the power to surge. You never know with these PCs, these computers, these personal computers. It pulled a lot of power, that old PC that I used to have, that desktop. I no longer have it anymore. And it even rendered a couple videos badly. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I think there was something off with it, all right? And it quite possibly could have pulled so much power when it was at that 99% finalizing the render for the video that it flicked the power on and off. Now, I'm not 100% sure, because there's been a couple issues over there. One being, I remember when Wayne, the original creator of Hometown Pizza, him and his wife were having a fight, or his common-law wife, doesn't matter her name, and he got so mad that he opened the gas line down there and left it open, and I smelled gas, and I had to report it, and then it got, or whatnot, and the gas line was left open all night, and the entire place here all smelled like gas. This was before Hometown Pizza, when they first got their pizza oven in there. It was a gas pizza oven. I remember, because I was pretty much a part of it, you know, because I was the one living upstairs paying the rent and all that. So I knew what was going on, because they would tell me, okay, we're installing the gas oven, Tom. We're doing this, we're doing that, and all that. And I was even the first person to ever try Hometown Pizza. They did a lot of different methods to their crust creation and things like that. And they had given me a pizza, as I was their tenant. They had given me a medium, I think it was, one time. And then I was a customer, and I told them, I'm going to be your biggest customer. And I bought from them a few times, Philly cheesesteak. What else did I buy? I think I bought a pizza one time. And they got a lot of options. Oh, and this is what it looks like now. And I remember when they put that sign up. Looks like it's all decked out with Canadian memorabilia. There used to be a motorcycle or something right there or something. Or that might have been somewhere else. But yeah, I haven't had Hometown in years. But they look good, and they got a lot of really good deals. So I know if I was still in Teeswater, I would be buying Hometown.